All right, factoring quadratics when you have negatives in them. You're going to use the exact same process, but there's just a little bit extra to think about. So let's start with the first one here. If I take negative 2x squared minus 9x plus 5 equals y. Now, if your front term, if your a is negative, don't leave it negative. Factor out the negative by doing this. Negative, parentheses. If I take a negative out of this, it becomes positive 2x squared. I take a negative out of this, it becomes positive 9x. I take a negative out of this, it becomes negative 5. Still equal to y. Alright? Keep the front term positive. Keep the front term positive. From here, now you can ignore the negative. You don't have to use it now. You just go ahead and work with what's inside the parentheses. So I take the 2, factor that down to 1 and 2. Take the 5, that's 1 and 5. So I need a combination that gives me 9. As long as you have a negative in here. If there is a negative in here, that means you could possibly be adding to get 9, or you could be subtracting to get 9. So you'll have to think of it both ways. Can I add the numbers to get 9, or can I subtract them to get 9? Right now I'm thinking if I did 1 times 1 and 2 times 5. So I do 1 times 1 and 2 times 5. 1 times 1 is 1. 2 times 5 is 10. In order for these to give me a positive 9, I would have to have a negative 1, write the negative right next to it, and a positive 10, write the positive next to it. So you can see where does the negative go, where does the positive go. Alright, from here, double check just to make sure your numbers are in the right place. This 1 is coming from my A, this 2 is coming from the A. So the numbers in the front are coming from A. The numbers in the back coming from C. Make your binomials. When I drop the numbers in, the 2 numbers in the front stay in the front. So this is 1x, this is 2x. The 5 will come over here. The 1 will come over here. From here, I have to pay attention to where my signs are going to go. Here's the easiest way to do this. Since my 10 is positive, that means the 2 and the 5 will both be positive. So you can go in front of the 2 and the 5 and write positive, positive. Since my number in the front here is positive, that means both of these must be positive. Therefore, the negative has to go in the back over here. If you didn't follow the way I did that, let me repeat it again. Erase my signs. Yep. Up here, I've already decided the 10 needs to be positive. The 10 is made up of the 2 and the 5. Therefore, these will both be positive to give me a positive 10. So I put a positive 2 and a positive 5. These 2 numbers in the front give me my 2x right here. So since this is now positive, these will both need to be positive. So the only place left for the negative is here. Now, to check to see if my signs are in the right place, just use FOIL. If I multiply these together, my first gives me positive 2. My last gives me positive 5 times negative 1, negative 5. Now for the inside, do the outside and then the inside, add those together, and it should give me positive 9. This is negative 1, this is positive 10. Negative 1, positive 10 gives you positive 9. This is correct. As far as your factors are concerned, this negative here simply goes down on the front. And that's it. To solve it, simply take this, set it to 0. Take this, set it to 0. When you set these to 0, you don't have to worry about this negative in the front here. You can ignore it. Just set this to 0 and solve. Set this to 0 and solve. Let's try the next one. 3x squared minus 11x plus 10 equals y. For this one, I don't have a negative in the front, so I don't have to factor out a negative. So I can just go ahead and start listing my factors of my A. That's 1 times 3. And then my factors of C. 1 times 10, 2 times 5. Since there's a negative in my quadratic, I could either be adding or subtracting to get that number there. So, let's start comparing. If I look at my first group here, this would give me 1, this would give me 30. 1 and 30 will not give me an 11. Try the other way. This would give me 10, this would give me 3. 10 and 3 do not give me 11. Therefore, this group does not work. Now I go to this group. If I was to do 2 and 15, 2 and 15 does not give me 11. If I were to do 5 and 6, 5 plus 6 gives me 11. That will work. So that's 1 times 5, 3 times 2. That gives me 5 and 6. In order to get a negative 11, I will have to have a negative 5 and a negative 6. And again, just to double check, my A was a 1 and the other A was a 3. The A's are in the front, the C's are in the back. Go ahead and make your binomials. Drop the numbers in, the 2 in the front, stay in the front. 1x, 3x. The 2 in the back get crisscrossed. So the 2 over here, the 5 over here. For this one, since I have a negative in this group, and I have a negative in this group, you just have to decide which numbers you're going to go with. When I multiply these two together here in the front, they should give me a positive, so I can leave these both positive. Positive and positive. If I leave the 1 positive, that means this 5 has to be negative. If I leave the 3 positive, that means the 2 has to be negative. Do you follow the logic there? Since I've already decided these will be positive, because positive times positive gives me positive 3. These numbers are up here in this group here. These numbers have to be used to get these numbers. Are you following? So, since I've decided the 1 will be positive, in order to get a negative 5, this 5 will have to be negative. So that means down here, negative. Over in this group, since I decided the 3 will be positive, well, I need to multiply this times the 2 to get a negative 6. Since the 3 will be positive, that means the 2 has to be negative. So this 2, negative. Now, just do FOIL really quick to check to make sure they're in the right place. When you multiply these together, first, positive 3. Last, positive 10. Now, outside with inside should give me negative 11. This is negative 5. This is negative 6. It gives me negative 11. So these are my factors for the quadratic. If I want the solutions, I take this and set it equal to 0 and solve. Set this equal to 0 and solve.